Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is the fourth movie in the DC Extended Universe, and it stars Gal Gadot as the titular character of Wonder Woman. In the movie, Wonder Woman, also known as Princess Diana of Themyscira or Diana Prince, is this Amazon warrior who lives on this island full of Amazon women called Themyscira, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean. It's a nice tropical island, and life is basically good until this pilot from World War One named Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, crashes in the ocean right next to the island, and she goes to save him, and he tells her about all the war that's going on, and she decides she's going to go with him, and now we have our movie. Okay, let's get this out the way. This movie was everything that DC and Warner Brothers needed right now. This movie was the big hit that it needed. Right off the bat, I can tell this is going to be a pretty damn good movie because it starts off in a very Batman-esque sort of way. You have the origin story of Wonder Woman or Diana, and she's just this little kid on an island full of women, and she's just learning everything, and she wants to be trained. And they spend the first 20 or so minutes establishing her character, her background, and how she grows into an adult who wants to be trained and gets trained. Then later on, the story progresses, and she meets Steve Trevor, and then she decides that she's going to go with him because she hears from him about all the evils that are happening. He tells her about the war to end all wars, which is World War One, and she decides, I'll go with him. I'll go with you to help solve this problem. And then you have the movie. Along with that, I will definitely say that Gal Gadot definitely completely owned this role in the movie. If you've seen Batman vs. Superman, where she had some precious few minutes, she definitely made a good impression as Wonder Woman, even though that wasn't her movie. This basically expanded on all of that, and it was fantastic. She definitely captures the feel. She definitely captures the essence. In fact, every time I see her now, and I just see her in the Wonder Woman costume, I just think, yep, that's Wonder Woman through and through. She completely owned the role. Myself and a lot of other people were a bit skeptical when they found out who was being cast as Wonder Woman, and much like Ben Affleck being cast as Batman, we were a bit scratching our heads like, okay. And as it turns out, they happen to be the best parts of the film, and this is no different. She was fantastic. She brings out the emotion. She can kick ass easily, and that was pretty much important for the film. Chris Pine plays Steve Trevor, who is also a pretty damn good role in the film. He's basically taking her all throughout London and showing her everything. There's actually a lot of humor in this movie, a lot more than the past three movies. And that's what pretty much helped me like this movie more. It felt natural, like they're actually building a relationship, and it just felt like it flows, like they click or whatever. Do you remember in the trailer when Diana pretty much explains how she was brought to life, and she says she was brought to life by Zeus, and there's this long pause where Steve Trevor is just like, that's neat. That's only a sample of some of the real humor that happens throughout the film. I won't spoil it, but when they're in London, there are a lot of moments where Diana is basically learning everything, because she is like a fish out of water in this, and to be perfectly honest, the way she interacts with London and the rest of the world, it's actually pretty adorable. Like, you just look at it and you can't help but smile. I mean, how can you not like that? That's just good. That's just good filming. But really, it's the humanity of the film that sells this, because there's a whole theme about the war going on and how this is like the best and worst that humanity has to offer. And they discuss it several times throughout the film. There's one particular scene towards the end where they have a big discussion about it, and I won't spoil it, but it's a pretty good discussion, and it kind of like makes you think about it weirdly, and it's just like, that hits pretty close to home. And the way they just interact with each other and the rest of the world, I just bought it. It just felt really real to me and really thorough and fluid and full of life and everything. Speaking of which, the movie is colorful. There are colors everywhere. Kind of a big contrast from the last three DC movies, which had a little bit of darkness and gloominess towards them. This has both, some color and some gloominess, albeit because it's a big contrast between Themyscira and the rest of the world. Needless to say, I want to talk about the action, because the action is fantastic. When Wonder Woman gets on screen, she kicks ass. When she starts throwing down, she really throws down. She just kicks soldiers clean across the room, out of buildings, from one point to another, and it goes. It's just perfect action. And when the action is moving, it moves. But it's not an action-centric film. In fact, most of the action doesn't take place until about 40, 50 minutes into the movie. But when the action starts happening for real, then it gets rolling like really fast. If there's anything I have to complain about, it's the villain. The villain is really not really that well developed at all. I mean, he's just kind of a sort of generic villain, which is kind of disappointing, and that seems to be the thing with a lot of these comic book movies. More not often than not, there's a handful of villains that are just like really engaging, but this one, not so much. And the big end fight, as fantastic as it was, I felt it was a little short towards the end. I'm like, okay, that was a little quick. I expected a little bit more, but it's a bit satisfying. By the end of this film, I walked out. I was thoroughly entertained. I enjoyed this heavily. This was the hit that DC needed. This was everything that was necessary. This is what we've been waiting for in a DC movie. I thought this was better than Man of Steel, and that was my favorite DC movie so far in the DC extended universe. And it was kind of important because what happens if this movie just gets worse reviews than other films? Then that's another hole that the studio has to climb out of, and we really don't need that, and they don't want that. But this was just thoroughly important in so many ways, and I'm glad it delivered. I wasn't disappointed at all. Gal Gadot killed this role. Chris Pine killed this role. Everyone did a fantastic job, and for that reason, this movie gets a gold ribbon rating from me. Oh, and before you ask, there's no post-credit scene. I'm just letting you know that right now. Okay, so Wonder Woman, have you seen it? What did you think? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Who was your favorite character in the movie? Whatever you think, leave me a comment below and tell me how you feel. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitter at AsteroidMike. Don't forget to check out my blog. If you like this channel and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. You can click on the link below or wait till the end of the video. And as always, I will see you around. So until then, this is me saying peace out.